Oh, there it is. Okay.
Hello, and my name is Kathy Van Riesen. I'm a founding member of ASHA International, a nonprofit organization dedicated to normalizing conversations about mental health and inspiring hope and healing, one story at a time. Thank you all for joining us. This is a welcome to Conversations on Hope and Healing. The COVID-19 pandemic and racial injustice are taking a toll on our mental health and well-being. Our goal is to share stories of hope and resilience and offer wellness tips and resources to all of you and let you know that no matter how you are feeling today, no matter what your struggles are, you are not alone. Together we will rise through these difficult times stronger, kinder, and more resilient. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Asha storyteller Lilly Glass Akoto to share her story. Lilly is an avid hiker, adventurer who will speak out about the healing powers of movement and nature. Please feel free to post your questions and comments during my conversation with Lilly. We'll be happy to answer them. So, hi, Lilly.
Hello.
Welcome. So happy you can join us. Can you please share your mental health story and how movement and nature have helped you to heal?
Sure thing. Thank you, Kathleen. It's nice to be reconnected with ASHA International again after all these years. So I've been doing a lot of thinking in preparation for this, and I kind of see two different seasons, if you will, of mental health. In my younger years, in the 30 years of depression and suicidality that I experienced, I think I wasn't even aware of how playing sports in school, playing around in nature, I grew up in the country, and all those things were helpful for me during those times. And then after my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in 2014 and passed away in 2015, that was a different season of my life in terms of my mental health, where I got really involved in the gym and also started hiking again. And during that time, during my husband's illness and then after his death, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety and fears because I wasn't sure what was going to happen once he passed away. So the idea about movement, for me, is the connection of we carry our emotions and we carry our feelings and our thoughts. We carry all that inside, and that manifests itself in the body. You know, oftentimes we'll come up with when we're at the doctor or what have you, and they'll say, where do you carry your stress, right? I carry everything right here. So if it begins to move into my stomach, I know I'm in trouble and I've got to go out and get a walk in or go to the gym and hit the weights, that kind of a thing. So that's a little bit of my story. I know that's pretty general. There are more specific question that you might have?
Well, in sharing your mental health story, it can be terrifying. And so what inspired you to share yours?
Well, ironically, I listened to Gayatri quite some time ago, and she's one of the persons who inspired me. I thought to myself, if this woman can share her story, I can share my story. And I've been a writer all my life. I've written poetry and short stories and those kinds of things. So I've always known about the power of words, but speaking it out was something that I wasn't very comfortable with until later on in life. And also during my husband's illness, I used Facebook as basically as my online journal, if you will. And I found that to be really powerful, that people were really gravitating towards that and being inspired and feeling helped by me sharing about my struggle and my journey with my husband's illness, and then afterwards during the grief. And so I've been doing the story sharing, telling since then, and have found it to be pretty powerful.
Well, I know that with your storytelling at some of our storytelling events, and so we really appreciated that in the past. So often people living with mental health conditions are told to lower their expectations, but you had a transformative experience that helped you follow your dreams. Please tell us about that experience.
Well, in 2007, I had my last suicide attempt, and that landed me into working with a therapist who provided EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And through that modality, I just happened to respond very, very well. And within 6 sessions of that modality, my life completely changed. I went from being someone who struggled with depression and suicidality pretty much every day for about 30 years to really literally not having any depression, any suicidal thoughts whatsoever. And, it's kind of interesting because I had been so intimate with my depression and suicidality. When I didn't have it anymore, I kept looking for it. Where is it? I didn't know. It had been my comfort and blanket for so long. But that really shifted and changed the whole direction of my life. And I think on top of that, what was even more profound to me and transformative was when I told my therapist, who knew everything about me, that I wanted to go into private practice. Her response was, "Oh, okay, great. Here's a couple forms. Here's this." No hesitation about supporting me in that. And I think that probably more than anything was so helpful and transformative of being supported in that way.
So glad you found her.
Yeah.
A supporting person is so important. So EMDR has helped you heal. Can you tell us a little bit more about this modality of healing? A lot of people don't know about that, so your experience would
Yeah.
be helpful.
In preparation, I wrote it down just because I wrote down a small little paragraph because I wanted to just get it right. So I'm just going to read this. It's from Wikipedia, of course. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is a form of psychotherapy developed by Francine Shapiro, starting in 1988, in which the person being treated is asked to recall distressing images. The therapist then directs the patient in one type of bilateral stimulation, such as side-to-side eye movements or hand tapping. According to 2013 World Health Organization practice guidelines, this therapy is based on the idea that negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are the result of unprocessed memories. The treatment involves standardized procedures that include focusing simultaneously on A, spontaneous association of traumatic images, thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, and B, bilateral stimulation that is most commonly in the form of repeated eye movements. So I know that's all, technical jargon there. But really, essentially, it's about stimulating the left and the right brain as you reprocess trauma memories and distressing memories, thoughts, and feelings.
And do they do it through the eyes? Is there some,
There's lots of modalities now. Originally, it was eye movement. So the client would be facing forward, and the therapist would be opposite them, and they would move their fingers, and a person follows with their eyes from left to right as the therapist is using the finger movement to stimulate that left and right brain.
and this modality is used all over the world. As far as you know, is this sort of gone international?
To be honest, I don't know. I believe so, but I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Okay. As an individual and a clinician, you believe honesty is the doorway to hope and healing. Can you please tell us more about that?
Sure. With all the experiences I've had in my life, I've come to some very simple thoughts and beliefs. And I have come to realize that staying present and being honest and in touch with whatever it is that you're experiencing, whether it's good or bad or whatever in between, and living your truth really makes a huge difference. Sort of the opposite of that is like secrets and lies and being dishonest and those kinds of things literally can destroy your body, destroy your emotions, destroy your feelings, your spirits, all of that. And so because of that, being honest, both with yourself and then with others, really allows a freedom that you don't get if you're not being honest and sincere in your life. And I also find that it's a really helpful way for me to work with clients as well, helping them sort of learn that idea and learn that concept of getting in touch with their feelings, being present, uh, being honest about what's really happening. Because so many times the clients that are coming into my office, they're holding those secrets and they've been holding them for a long time, or they've been in denial, or those kinds of things. They haven't had the courage or been brave enough to be able to speak the truth about how they're really feeling and what they're really thinking about. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Mental health conditions debilitate individuals and impact their families and communities. What words of hope and advice do you have to share with all of them?
Well, I was thinking a lot about this question. I'm like, what could I say that could be really helpful or inspirational? And I kind of found myself thinking about a couple of things. Yes, I understand that mental health issues and struggles can be super debilitating. And so I don't minimize that at all. And I believe that it's the community, it's family responses, it's friend responses that can be even more debilitating. If folks that are struggling with mental health felt safer talking about it, safer asking for help, if they felt that they wouldn't be judged, if there wasn't so much stigma, I feel like those are the things that debilitate folks because it keeps them from reaching out and getting the help that they need. I think there's a lot of help out there. I mean, I think that's one of the things I want to uh, make sure people hear today, that there is help out there. There are free programs, there are obviously cost programs, but there's a lot of information now out about mental health. There's a lot of organizations like ASHA International and others that are fighting to remove the stigma about mental illness and mental health struggles, and so that's one thing. And I guess I also want to say, don't do it alone. I know that you talked about that from the very beginning, and that's so important. When we're alone, I think that's the most dangerous time. And so reach out. I know I've had family members call on behalf of somebody they wanted to get into counseling. And I always thank them for doing that because I know they often feel like, oh, my partner or my daughter or my son or mom or whoever it is they're calling on behalf of, they're not very happy with me for doing this, but I'm doing this. I really want to help them. And I'm like, good, I'm glad. It's worth the client or the person who's struggling to be mad at you for you to reach out and get the help that they need. So yeah, I wish I had more eloquent words to really inspire. But really to me, it's about being brave, taking courage. When you notice that somebody is struggling, don't leave them alone, even if they're going to be mad at you. And reminding people that there's a lot of help out there. There's a lot of good information, not just fake help, so to speak, but really good information out there. And there's a lot of good resources. I work in a community of tons of intelligent, creative, awesome therapists and counselors. So I know that there's really good folks out there that can be helpful.
Yeah, I know the stigma. I've been connected to mental health issues for almost 30 years now, and the stigma has gotten so much better than it was 30 years ago, but we've got so much farther to go. But I'm just delighted to see the progress that we've had. So, reach out. That's definitely the message. So, as we kind of wind this down, what gives you hope at this point?
At this point in my life, I kind of see my life in two different ways. Sort of my now life and my before life. And my before life is up into 2007, 2008, when I did my EMDR treatment, and my now life is now, right? And so in my now life, what gives me hope is Jesus. I'm very strong in my faith. I pray a lot. I talk to God a lot. And my family and my growing family, I have two boys and I have two grandchildren. And, of course, with my husband passing, it was a hard time after that. And so to be in a season of life and growth gives me a lot of hope. I have really good friends. That gives me hope. And the knowledge, the simple, I kind of landed at this simple truth that I talk a lot about, which is I'm here on this earth and then one day I'm not going to be. That's kind of as simple as it gets for me. And that actually gives me hope because each day is a new day to do the very best that you can, and that gives me hope. And so if I have a not so great day one day, I know that I'm hopeful that the next day I get to try again and do something new, And
Yeah.
those are the things that give me hope.
Well, thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
And what helps you stay resilient? Because you certainly have demonstrated that.
Again, my faith. Um, and then one of the things, okay, so backtracking a little bit, when I was depressed and suicidal, I lived a life where I was looking at life as an outsider. I wasn't in it. I wasn't participating in my life. And so now I participate in life. So I have a passion for hiking, I have a passion for working out, I have a passion for volunteering and helping people. I have a passion for my job. I love doing my job. And so all of those things keep me resilient because I'm always feeding my passion. I think sometimes people think I'm a bit selfish because I'm always doing things and always, doing the things that I like. But I just feel super lucky that I get to do them all.
That's great. Um, and and the final question I have for you, and if anyone who's watching wants to make a comment or have a question for Lilly, we encourage you to do that. So, what are your dreams for the future, Lilly?
So I've had this dream for, oh gosh, over 10 years. My eventual hope is to own my own camp. I grew up
Mm,
loving camp life. I would camp every year, probably started, I don't know, third or fourth grade, I'm not really sure. But I would go to camp and I loved that outdoor experience. And I want to build maybe or purchase, I don't know where, a camp and basically run mental health groups all year round. I love groups, something I'm very passionate about. And because I love nature and I love movement, it's a good way to combine everything all together. But that's my eventual hope is to one day own my camp and run the mental health groups all year round and be able to live out there in the beautiful outdoors. Yeah.
oh, lovely. A great, great, lovely thing to envision. Okay, I think unless there's anything else you'd like to share, Lilly, or any comments, anyone who's watching the stream who wants to ask her a question, we're kind of ready to close now, unless there's a question that comes up. Anything else you'd like to share, Lilly?
Yeah, originally on our script, so to speak, we were talking about culture, and I kind of wanted to avoid that because I just had a lot to say about culture, I guess. But I guess one of the things I wanted to share about is I grew up adopted, and I was adopted into a white family, and I grew up in white schools and white towns and white everywhere. And for me, part of my depression started because I knew psychologically I could see that I was different. I was brown skin in a white world. And, you know, so that's one of the things that I kind of focus on now is trying to help people figure out their identity. I like working with biracial people. I like working with people in general, but and talk about identity with everyone. But I think even more so with the biracial folks because it's a unique perspective and it's a unique world. And being adopted is a unique perspective and a unique world. because we're always challenged to deal with our identity and trying to figure out who we are. And so, I don't know, I just want to share about that, of where some of my depression had come from, was trying to figure out, who this gal was in the midst of this big world. And I think a lot of us struggle with that.
Yeah. Imagine you've helped your son navigate this difficult path as well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, anything else anyone wants to contribute now? Otherwise, I think we'll close. I don't see any comments. That means she's answered all your questions, I guess, which is wonderful. Well, I thank you, Lilly, for joining us. I have seen you speak several times at ASHA events. I've always found your story fascinating. I learn more every time you speak, and inspiring. And you've seen a lot of challenges, and your resilience is just amazing. And so I'm so pleased that you're able to give back in so many ways that you are, but to be a therapist and to be able to help others who've you've walked the walk. So that I'm sure that helps. So we just thank you again for all the storytelling and things you shared with ASHA over the years. In fact, you were on the board at one point in time, and thank you for that service as well. We will happily add this conversation to our website for others to view at times, and to wherever we post it. I don't know all the places. But anyway, I want to just thank you, Lilly, again, for contributing over the years. And I guess we can just sign off now. I still don't see any questions, so we'll just sign off. But thank you again, Lilly. I look forward to seeing you someday when COVID is over. And we have another in-person storytelling event, and you decide to share again or just attend. I'll look forward to seeing you in person again in the future.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope you found this conversation edifying and hopeful, and helped you. And you can share it with others and encourage people to. We've got many other stories up on the website and our Facebook and other places to share it. If you're curious, go look. So bye for now from ASHA and our storytelling adventure. Thank you.